Good morning. My computer is not coming in very clear this morning, but we'll deal with it. So, good morning, everybody, again, and welcome to the continuing education. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Diana Hinkle, and I come to you live every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. What I'm here to do is help you understand essential oils better, and to also give you some ideas about helping you in a lifestyle change, because really this is all about that lifestyle that we decide or we choose to participate in. And that lifestyle is helping you understand where you can reduce chemical and toxic overload between everything that we're involved with or everywhere we go. And this is to help you create that lifestyle not only for yourself but for your family and your pets, because our pets are exposed to toxins all the time too, especially with what 70% of products out there, probably like 90% of products have chemicals in them. So what are you using to clean your home, freshen your carpet? What are you doing for that? Now today I'm super excited for extra reasons, and that's because this is BOGO week. So it's like, this is cool. So what is a BOGO? First off, a BOGO is when you purchase something, you get something for free. It's a buy one, get one, right? And usually that's what's going on. So this was perfect because we're going to talk about Petitgrain. Petitgrain is an essential oil that is one that we don't talk about it very much. And so today is that BOGO for Petitgrain. When we purchase Petitgrain, we get a lavender for free. And I love that. If you guys are super interested in any of that, if you do not have an account, please get a hold of me and I'd be happy to let you in on purchasing, or you can go to doTERRA.com and purchase it yourself. Or if you know someone in doTERRA, go ahead and purchase it. That's fine. That's great, because we want you to enjoy what that product brings to you. So my continuing education, we're not here to treat, diagnose anything, because first off, I can't, okay? And my background is coming through dental, and I ended up creating a journey, and that journey is this, because I love what I do, and I had no idea what essential oils were until I was actually introduced. So like everything, we don't know anything until we're taught. Even when we're little, we don't know anything until we're taught. If you were taught that to say thank you, so please, first off, we're taught to say please, right? And what's the response? Thank you. We're taught that. At least I hope everybody was taught that. I think nowadays it's probably not the best, or we're not being taught that so much, but it's that politeness, because it gives you as a result, right? So in everything we do, we don't know until we know, and we don't know until we're taught. I'm super grateful that I was introduced to essential oils, and I realized that there was a huge need for people to understand more. So let's talk about the Petitgrain. Petitgrain, like I said, is that oil that we don't talk about enough. First off, let me give you some facts about Petitgrain before we get into really what it's all about. First off, it comes from Paraguay, which is about the middle of South America. Did you know that it takes over 4.9 pounds? Okay, now that's almost not 5 pounds of products, which in this case, the Petitgrain comes from twigs and leaves from the bitter orange tree. But that 5 pounds only gives us 15 milliliter bottle. Okay, and I didn't bring it here. I don't know why I didn't do that. I'm not going to get up and go get it. 15 mil, which is about, that's not very much, okay? That's a good size bottle. But when you consider 5 pounds, I have a dog that weighs 5 pounds, and that's a little Chihuahua cross. So if you think about that, that's a lot of matter, right? So it's fun to be able to know where this product comes from. So we're not only is it helping us change our lives, it's helping change somebody else's life. But what's really interesting about the bitter orange tree, we actually get 3 different essential oils from one tree. So the petitgrain, like I said, comes from the twigs and the leaves of that tree. But we also get neroli. Neroli comes from the flower of the tree. And then you get the fruit, which is the orange, and that's where we get our wild orange. So wild orange comes from the fruit of the tree. So we get all 3 from one tree. I think that's incredible. So that tells you each one has its specific compounds in what it can do for us. Okay, there are different, those compounds are the different constituents that they have in the product itself. And so when we are looking at the science part of it, or the compounds of it, that's really what's important when we start looking for options to use in our everyday world. So let's compare this to lavender, because today, since the BOGO is buy a petitgrain, you get a lavender for free. Well, let's look at that. So petitgrain has a lot of the same characteristics as lavender has. So if you're somebody that doesn't like the smell of lavender, or you think that you're allergic to lavender, or you do have an allergy to lavender, petitgrain is an essential oil that you could use in place of that lavender, because it has a lot of the same functions. So it's helpful in calming. We all know, most of us know that lavender in itself is the calming oil, right? And my dogs are having a lot of fun, so that's what you hear in the background. Nothing like entertainment in the mornings. And so when you look at the lavender, lavender is very calming, but when some people can't have lavender, what do you reach for? Petitgrain is one of those options. And we also know that we also have to consider where we are. What is our body chemistry like? So let's look at someone that's ADHD or ADD or any of those kinds of things. You're just kind of like on the go all the time, right? Lavender for some of those kinds of people is a pick-me-up. It's not calming at all. It makes them go more. So if you've ever experienced, or you know somebody that has taken like Vicodin, for instance, Vicodin is a medication that's given to help us recover usually and keep us from doing too much. But they say don't drive, don't operate machinery, because for most people, it will really calm them down like it's supposed to. But you have that percentage of people that's on the other side of the scale, and they're cleaning their house all day long. Now, if you want to do that and that happens, you can come to my house and clean all day long as much as you want. I could always use it. I have 5 little dogs running around, so you can imagine, and they love toys. I think they're worse than kids because I can't tell them to pick them up, put them back. They're really good at picking them out. So think about that. So petitgrain is one of those that you could use on the other side of the scale. And it's typically not going to do that because the compounds are different. So we have a high amount of esters in petitgrain. It's like 65% in esters. And so if you really want to get into the science part of it, I would help that you will look up what esters are, what the different compounds like sesquiterpenes, monoterpenes, esters, alcohols. Those are all parts of the compounds of essential oils, and petitgrain has a lot of esters in there. So now we know where it's from. We know that it's very calming. We know that it's good for the skin as well, right? And we can use it several different ways. We can use it aromatically. So if you take the lid off and just smell it, that's your fastest response with any essential oil. If you want to calm yourself down and you love the smell of petitgrain, then you will use that. And by the way, it's not a, petitgrain is one of those that it's not a, it doesn't have, it has kind of an earthy smell, but it's not too much, but it's not got the flowery smell either. So it's kind of an in-between. And it's a very different fragrance. And I will, so if you kind of, let's see, let's look at it this way. If you've smelled the wild orange, which most of us have, if you think about wild orange and then add a little bit of a root oil to it so that you have that more musty, kind of, not musty, but a more ground to earthy type of smell, if you blend that together, that's what you're getting out of petitgrain. At least that's what I get out of that. Now you might get something different because that's what people, all of us smell something different too. And it triggers different emotions as well. But you can use it aromatically. You can use it topically. Topically is apply it wherever you want. And but when you do apply it topically, if you're going to place it someplace where you have maybe more sensitivity to on the skin, so especially like if we're applying it like right under on our cheeks, or if we're applying it to our throat, those are places where it may be a little more sensitive. So always add a carrier oil. Carrier oil is like, I use fractionated coconut oil because fractionated coconut oil is a clear liquid. It is also a small molecule, so it evaporates or it soaks into the skin very quickly. So a lot of your other carrier oils like jojoba oil, sunflower seed oil, all these different oils have a different molecule. They're bigger, and so they don't soak into the skin, and so you get that greasy feeling. Well, fractionated coconut oil doesn't give you that problem. It soaks in very quickly. And topical application, an essential oil soaks in within 30 seconds, which is phenomenal, right? And same with the fractionated coconut oil. And it gets within every cell 20 to 30 minutes later. So within 20 minutes, you can affect every cell of the body. And this is what I like, because when you think about that, how many times have you taken like an over-the-counter medication, like we'll say like you have a headache and you take an aspirin or Tylenol or whatever it is that's your choice, and you're waiting for it to work. Does it work or does it not work? If it doesn't work, then how much more of that medication can you take within a certain amount of time frame? And then how much more do you want to take, and how much longer is going to take before the headache goes away? So with essential oils, when you apply for like a headache, then you apply it to the temples, back behind the ears. You can put a drop on top of your head. You can put it at the back of your neck. Those are all places that you would want to apply for a headache. You could get relief in as little as 30 seconds. Okay, and don't forget this nerve center right here in the middle. But make sure you don't get it in your eyes. And if you ever get any essential oil into your eyes, first off, you're not going to go blind. Second off, you're going to tear up, right? Keep your eyes closed as much as you can. You can also, first off, do not use water. Okay, again, do not use water to flush the eyes. That is not something we want to do, because water is a driver, and so that is something that is going to create more. So we want to use either the fractionated coconut oil. You can get a cotton ball with some milk, yogurt, anything, or an oil, olive oil, whatever you have available that's got a fat to it, put it over the eye. Never put it in the eye, only over the eye. Keep your eyes shut and do that. It takes about anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes for it to dissipate, but it will go away, okay? Don't panic. That's the first thing. Do not panic. Do not use water to flush. So it's really cool that we can actually get into something and use it 30 seconds, okay? Wait a couple minutes, wait 5 minutes, whatever you want. What am I feeling at that point? Do I need more? And here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to overdose on a drop of essential oil. doTERRA's essential oils are very pure and very potent, very powerful. They pack a punch. And that's because of their certified pure therapeutic grade, or CPTD. That's super important to me because I know that it's consistent in its potency and it's going to work the same every single time that I get or purchase a bottle of essential oil. That's important for me because I know it's safe, for one. I know it's potency, and it's potent for another. And when you are smaller people, like if they're children or our pets, always dilute with a carrier oil, and always, the younger they are, the smaller our pets, add more fractionated coconut oil or whatever carrier oil you're using. So like for children, 1 drop to a teaspoon of your carrier oil is recommended. And there are charts that you can get as well. So always remember, less essential oil, more carrier oil. And I love how doTERRA actually came out with a kids line that is created especially for us who don't want to mess with all of the measurements. And it comes in a convenient roller bottle. So it's really awesome that they think about things like that. So back to Petitgrain. The other part of Petitgrain, since where it comes from, another part of this is what we're seeing is there's never any waste. So whenever everything is completely finished, the process, the distillation process, they either use it for fuel for their next distillation, or they use it in a mulch. So there's never any waste. And I love that because we want to be eco-friendly, right? And that's another part of doTERRA that I really like, is they are looking to make sure that we are protecting our environments. Now, we've talked about aromatic, we've talked about topical application, but what about internal application? So Petitgrain is one of those you can use internally. You can either put it in water, in a shot glass. You can put it in juice if you like the flavor or like it. You can also put it in like a smoothie. You can get empty capsules and put them in, and put a few drops in capsules and swallow them that way. Now, sometimes you can, you might think that there's a controversy there, so you decide what you want to do. No matter what, whether you use it internally or topically, it still gets into the bloodstream, still does what it's supposed to do. And then there are reflex points. You can even go on beyond there. But the basics, I want you to know that that's a choice between internal use and your topical application. Now, like I said, this can be a sensitive oil for different spots, so make sure that you don't have sensitivity to it before you put it on major. But it's also something that, you know, if you have a night cream, or you have you want to sleep at night, you love it, you can diffuse it in your diffuser. You can put it on a cotton ball, put it by your bed. If you have a night cream, put a few drops in your night cream or lotion and add it to your skin that way. That's a wonderful way to help the skin rejuvenate itself. But it's also considered the man's lavender because, you know, men don't want to smell foo-foo, but they want that calming effect, right? So Petitgrain is one of those that is an option for this. And then another thing about Petitgrain is, do you know, or do you feel like you're like chained to your past? because on the emotional side of Petitgrain, it is, if you have those negative emotions of your disowning your ancestry or those repeated negative family patterns, and or you're just, it's just unhealthy, or you're just looking or seeing those unhealthy traditions in your family or to you, Petitgrain is a way to get back out of all of that. So you no longer have to be chained to those patterns, right? We can get away from those patterns. So we want to get back into the positive side of that and then break that chain and cultivate new healthy traditions in our families and those connections with our family. So Petitgrain is great for this. Now, how often would you use this? As often as you feel you need, especially by aromatic use. Aromatic use is the best and fastest response for anything. So if you feel that negative emotion coming on, you can pull that Petitgrain out and smell it. And you want to take several deep breaths. And by the way, even if you don't have your essential oil, if you feel like that anxiety coming on, or you feel like you just need to let the body calm, 3 deep breaths. You just want to breathe in and let out, and do that several times, and you'd be amazed how much better that'll make you feel. Adding the essential oil into that equation is like phenomenal. Get the oil that you like best. Petitgrain, like I said, is one of those that we just simply do not consider enough, because we think about all the basics all the time. We think about orange, lavender, and on guard, and deep blue. We talk about peppermint, the basics all the time, but what about the other ones? So Petitgrain is one of those to really think about and consider in place of your lavender, or maybe it will be better than the lavender. This is something that is really to consider. And now the other thing is you can use 1 to 3 drops with your carrier oil. For the emotion, you can actually put it on the bottom of your feet. Another way of doing that is to add your essential oil into a roller bottle, a bottle that has a roller on top of it, and so you can apply it to your feet morning and night. Because typically nighttime is when we are going to start thinking about all the negative things that have happened during the day, or we just can't shut the brain off, right? So this is a really good time to incorporate your essential oils at night. And then in the morning, when you apply, think about a positive statement that you can say to yourself for the coming day. You know what your day is going to be like, or where you're going. What can you say to bring a positive emotion along with that essential oil applied to the bottom of your feet? That to me is super helpful, super important, so that we can get ourselves to that positive state. And like I said, every time that you are thinking about a negative emotion, if that's your choice of essential oil, keep it in your pocket, or put a little bit in your pocket. Do something, be able to, throughout the day, pull something out of your pocket and smell it. Take those 3 deep breaths. See if that doesn't make a difference in how you respond and how your day goes. So I think that's super helpful. Now, another thing that you can do for any essential oil, Petitgrain, lavender, any of those, is you can make bath bombs. And I say make your own because they're super simple, because all it is your essential oil, baking soda, your citrus acid, which you get in your canning department of your local stores, and your cornstarch. That's all it has in there. And when you go look at the ingredients, when you go to like Bed Bath & Beyond and look at excuse me, bath bombs, okay, which is for fragrance, right? Well, look at all the chemicals it has in it. Make your own. Super easy, super simple. And add those into your bath. Now, if you don't want to go through all the bath bombs or make those, which are really good for little gifts, then put it in your bath water. Take a bath, but first get some Epsom salt, which Epsom salt is really good for the skin, okay? Take about a, eighth to a quarter cup, depends on you. Put your essential oil, a couple of drops onto, put it on your hand, put your essential oil on your Epsom salt, and then from there, put it in your water. You're gonna get aromatic, for one, and you're gonna get topical application because it's going to soak into your skin, okay? I once actually had someone that says, I just feel like I could drown myself in these essential oils. I'm like, well, then take a bath with them. And they're like, you can? It's like, yes, absolutely. Best way to do that. And you can make compresses. You can do all kinds of things with these. Now, another thing about Petitgrain, it is a top note. So if you're interested in creating perfumes, which is my class this month at the Hangar Inn, is all about making perfumes. Petitgrain is a top note. So what does that mean? It means that it's a very light and very thin essential oil, and so it evaporates faster. So if you get into making your own perfume that reacts to your chemistry, now that's another thing. Chemistry is amazing, but you want to use that as your top note. So top notes usually take more drops than your base or middle notes. Base notes are very thick and usually are more pungent, and then your middle notes are even more pungent, but your top notes aren't as, it takes more to get fragrance and they evaporate very quickly or quicker. So it's fun to make your own perfume. But getting back to the chemistry, so if you've ever gone to the perfume counters, which most of the time I don't, I have a hard time even going into a store like Bed Bath & Beyond, because I think all those smells are so overwhelming to me. It's like, I'll get through this, right? Chemistry, all of us are different. So if you try a perfume and you smell it and it's like, oh my gosh, it smells like heaven, right? But when you put it on you, does it smell different? Or now that you've put it on you, you're like, oh, that doesn't smell really good. Or maybe the opposite, doesn't smell very good, but you put it on you and you're like, oh my gosh, where's this been all my life, right? It reacts to our chemistry, and that's what essential oils do too. Everybody has different chemistry, and so that chemistry is how we can utilize essential oils. So that's why what works best for you may not work best for me. Maybe good, but it may not be the one, right? So chemistry has a lot to do with what works for us. And if we're patient enough, we'll find the right ones or the right combinations to address any given situation or whatever it is that you're looking for. There are countless different possibilities. And I think that is tremendous. I mean, we just have to be a little bit on the just chill and just think about it and be very, just very giving with that. So now that I've taught you a little bit about Petitgrain, I hope that you give this a little bit more option the next time that you are looking into essential oils and you're wanting something different for calming effects and for you know, whether it's insomnia, whether it's abdominal problems, you know, whether it's you get anxiety palpitations, you get the skin, maybe you have dry, cracked skin, get your lotion out, get your Petitgrain, put that in there. And that emotional well-being, this has got so many good things that we can use for it. Even in our hair, if you've got problems with like dandruff or a dry scalp, that's a skin issue. So add a drop of Petitgrain to your shampoo that you like to use. Or you can even just put some on your hands and then rub it through your hair like this. I do that. We actually have one that's called Rip to Tip, and I love that. And I put it on every day, and I love the rosemary that's in it. But essential oils don't make your hair greasy, okay? They actually nourish the hair just like your skin, because your hair is skin, right? It comes from your skin, so you want to nourish it. You can also use it for, like a body odor, so like a perfume. Not only for that, you can use it as a body spray. So if you think that you can create your perfume, you can create a spray. There's so many things you can do for it or with it. Let's see, let's see, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I've covered everything that I want to cover. I mean, I could go on forever or for a lot longer time. Let's see, and by the way, for those of you that don't know, when it comes to an essential oil, always read the label, because the label will tell you whether or not your essential oil is an option for internal use. Now with doTERRA, it's super easy. You pick up the bottle and it's going to have a supplement fact on there. If that supplement fact is not on there, it means that they're not recommending it for internal use. And because it's meant, when it is recommended or it is consumable, it means that it has passed the GRAS standard, meaning that which is GRAS, that's generally regarded as safe through our FDA as like a flavoring or additives that are okay for us to ingest. Now with doTERRA, again, if you're going to ingest, you want to think about how much you're ingesting. So like a great example is peppermint essential oil that doTERRA has. 1 drop of doTERRA essential oil, peppermint, is equivalent to 28 cups of tea. That's 1 drop to 28 cups of tea. And then also when you think about it too, that we have trillions of cells, or excuse me, billions of cells. 1 drop of an essential oil has trillions of molecules in it. That's why it can help every single cell, helps in protecting our cells and helping in getting us through whatever it is that's going on. I love that. And I know that even at the beginning, it was like, wait, what? How can that be? I mean, mathematically, unless you're really into numbers, we just can't think of that. It just seems so unreal, right? So remember that the next time you're using your essential oils, and if you're trying to like reduce a fever, or you want to get to a certain way really quickly, you want to use your essential oils more often. So less essential oil more often is better than more essential oil less often. Okay, this isn't a medicine, okay, but it is something that will help our cells to recover from whatever is going on. That's a beauty with essential oils. So for those of you that are interested and you love what you see, please give me a comment back, even if you receive this on because I do post them on YouTube, and you can find me on YouTube, and all my replays are on YouTube. And please contact me if you need. And I'm always interested in what somebody else has to say, or has to or wants to give any feedback. I love all of that. So again, thank you for being here today, and I appreciate everybody that listens to the call on the replay, and always reach out to me, and I'd love to hear from you. And thank you for joining me, and we will see you again next week. And if you remember with doTERRA already, enjoy this week's BOGOs. And again, think about Petitgrain, because Petitgrain is an awesome oil that we tend to put over there in left field. So let's think about those options that we have. You guys have a wonderful day, and I appreciate all of you. Thanks a lot.